we all have equally. Some people can sing, some can't. I know I can't sing. Um, some people can talk better than others. But the one talent that God has given all of us is the talent of time. And we should be able to utilize that time to increase our wealth. If we were born poor and God has given us time to live, we should not live poor until we die, right? So I'm excited about the topic today, and I'm hoping that you will glean. I shared some things here before. We'll be repeating some of them, but it's worth it because, as Pastor says, sometimes you hear something and how do I get it up? Oh, there you go. Somebody had to put it up. Oh, I see you. Okay. Yes. Oh, okay, wonderful. So if you do have family and friends that you want to take a quick second to send them the login for the Goshen Temple Church. So finance is a big topic, right? A lot of moving parts. Um, I mean, you can think about taxation, that's a whole 5 years of study, right? Um, you can think about real estate, that's a part of finance as well. And you can just think about anything pertaining to money, how money works, how money grows, you know, investments. Maybe you want to think about retirement. There's just so much when we talk about finance. So when you're asked to come and do something on personal finance, it's just so much. You don't know exactly where to focus because each one of us, we are in a different position in our lives right now. Okay, some of us need a house, some of us already have a house, some of us needs a job, some of us we already working. So it's always good for us to work with people one-on-one. So what we try to do in a presentation like this, where we are coming together with different people, is just give you as much as we can, and you now should take some notes, write your questions down, or write down the areas that really interest you. And that's when we can meet with you on a one-on-one basis and really try to help you personally. So today we want to look at tools to manage your personal finances. And I want to start off with a little icebreaker. I know you've been sitting and some of you waiting for a while. So one person on this side, just a group activity, one on this side. What do you think is most important? Most important, not everything, to managing good financial health? Anyone? Yes, the first hand I saw. Wisdom from God. Beautiful. All right. So, talking to God, because we're talking about faith also, right? And listening to what God has to say. And most times we can find what God has to say in His Word, right? As Pastor says, finances and money and all these things, they're all written in the Word of God and also in the spirit of prophecy. All right, wisdom from God. This side, what do you think is most important to managing good financial health? One person. Nobody on this side? All right, then I'll take having a budget. Okay. Yeah, that's very important. So we can talk about budgeting today as well. All right. So a lot of other things. So today I want to share with you, I came up with 7 that I think is most important. Because of time, I know I'm only going to get to 6. But we want to look at some principles of stewardship as as we get started. What happened to the screen? Did I lose my screen? All right. So the first principle of stewardship, because this is important. If you expect for God to give that blessing that you are looking for, you've got to understand God's principles as it relates to stewardship and finance. So the first principle is God owns everything. You agree with me? God owns everything. And you just read it in the scripture reading, Psalms 50 and verse 10, for every beast of the field is mine, every cattle upon 1,000 hills, right? All the gold, all the silver, like you've got to understand that, right? We can no longer say, this is my money or this is my body or, we have got to accept that. First principle of stewardship, God owns everything. All right. So God is the owner. And second principle of stewardship, we are his stewards, right? You've got to accept that this is something that the people in the world don't understand, but we have got to accept that. So God is the owner. I am his steward. God is responsible for my success. And God holds me responsible for what? What I do with what he blesses me with, right? The sister in the back, she says, look to God for wisdom. Look to God for wisdom. God is going to hold us responsible for every cent that comes into our hand. And this is why doing these types of workshops is important, because a lot of times people don't accept that. Now, the world, another principle of stewardship, and this is the one that we want to avoid. The world says me, okay? They don't say God, they say me. I am the owner. I am responsible for my success. I am responsible to no one for what I do with my property. That is an attitude of stewardship that we as God's people should never hold. Now we want to look at lifestyle choices, because we have that choice, what we do with our money. So as you see on the screen here, our money goes into paying taxes, right? Do you have a choice? Like, you guys are sounding like you're not sure. You don't really have a choice, right? Do you think Uncle Sam is okay. So Uncle Sam says, listen, if I leave it up to you to come and pay your taxes, I think you're going to take a trip to Jamaica first, right? Or to Trinidad, where I'm from. So Uncle Sam makes it mandatory that he takes the taxes out first. So we don't have much of a choice, okay? What about the next category, where our income, this is percentage of income, right? It says what? Giving. Do we have a choice? Yes, we do, right? We have a choice with the giving. Do we have a choice with the giving of our tithe or returning? Huh? Not really, right? You do have a choice, but your choice is to do what? To be faithful, right? With the tithe. And then you have a choice with your offering as to how much of the offering that you want to give. Remember now, the Lord wants to do what? To bless us. So the more we give, now do we give because we expect a blessing? We shouldn't, right? We give out of love for God, right? God loved us. And so he gave his only son to save us. How does God know that we love him? By our actions and by us being obedient, right? And that's why when I say, when it comes to the tithe, I don't think you have much of a choice. You just got to do it because you love the Lord so much, okay? And the third category, which is the biggest category there, says what? Living expenses. So I want you to listen to this and tell me what you're not seeing with this picture here. So about 25% of everything that you make is going to go into paying your taxes. The government is going to take it, 25%. How much you have left? 75, okay? Then you have another 25% is going to go into paying off your debt. So those of you who have a car note, you have a mortgage, you have student loans, and so on, you're going to be paying off your debt. And then you have about another 50, 60% is going to go to take care of your living expenses. That's your biggest expense, your rent, your mortgage, your light, your gas, your food, transportation, your children's school fees, your grandchildren, clothing, and all of that. So what's left? Like, you got to understand this. And this is why we cannot just expect that by just praying alone. Yes, we have to pray. I'm not diminishing prayer. But we heard this morning that faith without works is dead, right? So God expects us to exercise that faith, but He also expects us to exercise our choices to do certain things that He can turn around and bless us, right? Work was given to us in the Garden of Eden. That's a blessing. Work. Some people don't believe that because some people don't want to work. Some people prefer to stand on the corners of the streets all day. Okay, they're more busy than the President of the United States and get some easy money, right? Breaking the law. That's not work. So we want to work and we are working, but 100% of it is going back out. Living expenses, taxes, paying off our debt. What is missing? Who can tell me? Yes. Yes, savings. You cannot save. And this is why, if you don't see through this picture, the whole idea is if we keep doing the same thing that we have been doing, we're not going to get a different result. That's what they said, the definition of insanity. You do the same thing 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. You save a little bit, you get no interest from it, your money's not growing. As you get it, it's going back out, and you're not seeing yourself becoming wealthier, being able to do more with what God has blessed you with. So therefore, it tells you that something is missing in the picture. Those are some of the things that we want to talk about. So God says, and this is found in Testimonies, Volume 3, page 399. This is not coming from me. God will bless you. God will enrich you with financial blessings. But you must do 3 things with the money. 1, 2, or 3. Not waste it, not mismanage it. God is not giving us money to waste it. He's not giving us money to just, have fun. Now, 25% of the world are the type of people who just want to have fun, right? And you might be one of them. I'm not knocking that. However, you want to prioritize. You want to get certain things done and accomplished before you say, hey, I'm just going to just have fun. So number 1, provide for your loved ones. If you pass away prematurely, your family should not have to scramble to bury you. Nobody should come to this church and ask the pastor, can they put up $2,000, $3,000 to bury you? That's your responsibility. You have to provide for yourself and your loved ones. You even hear it when you go on the plane. They tell you if the plane is going down, you cover what? Huh? You cover yourself what? First. So you cannot allow people to let you make the type of decisions to waste what you have because you're trying to take care of them. People are coming and they're asking you to co-sign loans. People are coming to you and they're asking you to put yourself on their leases for them. They don't have money, but when they come to church, they just spend $70 on doing their nails. Hello. I know what I'm telling you. I am a financial coach. I coach a lot of people. I know what I'm telling you. Right? There are people that have their own savings and they will not touch it. And you would think that they are so hard up and you will take your last. Like, you got to open your eyes. Take care of yourself first. Take care of the less fortunate. This is what it says. So I'm teaching you what you need to do so that the blessings can fall on you. You cannot waste the little God has given you because he's not going to give you any more. And you cannot sit down and believe that you should be poor because he wants you to be rich. He wants you to have more. There is no way that you should have your pastor always be begging, begging, begging so the church could do this. No, we should be pouring the money in. And God wants to give it to us, right? So we must learn, what do I need to do with what I have so that God can see that I'm honoring this and God can open the showers to me. So provide for the less fortunate. We cannot be selfish. We have to take care of the poor in our church. We have to help them, right? And then he says, provide for the work. So some of us that have our houses and lands back in the Caribbean here, we inherited and things like that, we just want to leave it to our kids and things like that. All that is fine. But you also have to go to God about that also. Because maybe you might want to leave some of it for the work of God. Just maybe. I'm not saying to let your children undone, because I'm not letting my kids undone, right? The Lord say provide for your loved ones first and the church last. But make sure you think about the church. How many agree so far? We are reading the testimonies. Okay. This is volume 3, page 399. All right. So as we talk about providing and leaving, it brings to mind our wills. Okay? This morning I mentioned to you about the will of Mrs. White. So I was looking over uh, her will here, right? So Mrs. Will, we have 4. Mrs. White, we have 4 of her wills here. The first one that was done in 1901, and then she did another one in 1906, 1909, and the last will was done in 1912. Now remember, she died, who remembers? July 16 of 1915. So this is the last will. And it's amazing, some of you at the end might want to just take it and peruse it. I don't have the time now. But it's very interesting to see how God really inspired this young woman at the age, and just to help us to see what we should do. Many of us sit down and we don't do a will. We just don't do it. But we see the examples of even this in the spirit that we need to do it. I want to read something here for you. Okay, it says here, while we do not know exactly how many wills Ellen White may have made during her lifetime, we do have copies of 4, right? I have the copies of the 4. One written in 1901, 1906, 1909, and the last one was in 1912. Okay. Of course, the 1912 was the last and thus became the basis for settling her estate after she died on July 16 of 1915. So it's important to have your will so that your estate can be settled when you're no longer here. So if you never did it before, or if you haven't looked at it, sometimes people do a will and they just haven't looked at it for years. They just do it and they put it down. You want to look at it, right? And if you need to update it, you want to do that. Now, she says something here. The provisions of Ellen White's 1901, okay, let's not go to the 1901. Let me read this for you. She requested that half of the net proceeds, net, who knows what net means? After you pay everything that you have, right? So you have gross, you have whatever you owe, and then you have net. So she says half of her net proceeds from the royalties from the sales of her published books was to be divided into 5 directions. Sometimes we say, I don't own anything, that's why I don't do a will, right? So you have to be responsible. You may not own anything right now that you think you don't, but you don't know the blessings. You don't know where your blessings are. They are right in front of you. But you hold yourself down by not believing and by not taking action. And I like the fact that she said here, one, 5 things. One, to support the age, the old, right, of the Seventh-day Adventist ministers and missionaries. That's important. Like, we have got to find a way, this church, to take care of our retired ministers, their wives, missionaries, Bible workers, teachers. That's our responsibility as a church. Two, develop the medical missionary enterprise in foreign lands as well, not only here in the United States. Translate, publish, circulate her books and her writings around the world in different languages, in different lands. Number 4, distribution of her books, the sale, the money that's coming from the sales to the poor. And listen to number 5, to educate the Black people in the United States. So here we have someone who is leaving us as an example, so that all what we earn over the years that we are working, investing, and so on, we are not to just think about ourselves. We think about ourselves. God cannot bless us. We have to go before him in faith. Lord, I'm asking you for this $1 million. Lord, I know what I'm supposed to do. And Lord, you help me to do that. You will see a difference. You will see a difference in your financial blessing. I have seen it. So your will is your voice after you are gone. Your will helps you to transfer ownership of your assets at your death. The big thing about the will is that the court supervises the will. This is why a lot of people now are looking towards trust. They're doing a will also, but they're also looking towards the trust because that doesn't go through the court and hold up everything. The purpose of the will, it cancels previous ones. So if you wrote one in the past, you never looked at it for a long time, you write the next one, the first one is no longer existent. It's always the last one. And you know something that I noticed too in practice? Sometimes people go to the homes to take care of older people, and these older people, their kids are nowhere around, their family is nowhere around, they own a house free and clear, and a lot of these people, they are not honest, some of them. They get these folks to sign, to turn over their property to them. This is why, even though you have older family members, you have to check on them, because people are selfish, and they do take advantage of the age. This is why Jesus loves the older generation so much. Okay? So it helps you to bequeath your assets, it helps you to direct payments of your debt, and designates people to serve. This is also important. Not too long ago, I got a call a few years ago, it was before COVID, so it could be about 5 years ago. I got a call from a lady, Seventh-day Adventist, and she heard me present a workshop upstate. I was meeting with a group of teachers from around the state, and she was one of the teachers that was in that seminar, and she took my business card. I didn't know her. She was Adventist. She took my business card. And then years after, I got a phone call from her, and she says, "Can you come and meet with me and my nephew and my family?" They didn't think that they had anything, but what happened was this nephew just turned 18. His mother died in childbirth, giving birth to him. So he never knew his mom, but it was a wrongful something with the hospital. And he inherited $1 million. Seventh day Adventist, young man, 18 years old. He inherited that on his 18th birthday. And I got the call, "Can you come and meet with him? Because, he just inherited all this money." And the first thing he did was bought a big expensive car. And his auntie, who called me and asked me to come and sit with him, she was like, "I don't want this kid to blow all this money." So I had the privilege to go and sit with him and talk with him. Very nice young man. He had a good head, on his shoulder. But of course, he wanted to get that car. But here's the point. Sometime in your life, you think that you have nothing, and then something happens, and you end up inheriting something. So you always want to learn what to do, know what you have to do, and to work on it should in case God finds a way to bless you. Because he says he will. If God says he will, then he will. Why do you want to have that will? Because sometimes you want to name beneficiaries who would not receive any benefits from what you leave. So it's important. You might have an older parent. You might have a child with special needs. If you don't mention that, if you think, "You know what, I don't have nothing much. Why do I need a will? I'm not going to spend that money." That's not the attitude of God's people. You saw what Mrs. White did. If she didn't do that, what do you think might have happened to the sale of all her books? So, responsibility, right? Also, the Lord's work. If something happens to you and you do have a house or something, it has to be sold, the money has to divvy up, you didn't have a will, right? The court steps in and decides, okay, this is what's going to happen. Do you think the court is going to think about Goshen Temple SDA Church? No. You are the one. You are the one that asked God for the blessings, right? He's the one who's giving you what you have. Now you have a responsibility to think about the church, right? Not to give everything, because your family first, the less fortunate, and then the work of God. So just keep that in mind. You might want to name guardians. You have little kids that you're responsible for. And let's say that you're not with you're a female, you're not with the father of the children. But who do you want to care for those kids? Your in-laws? I mean, or, you got to think about that. If something happens to you, who do you want to care for your kids? Do you want another family to care for them, but they're not Christians? So all of these things, why you have to do that. You want to name an executor, just as in Mrs. White will. I like the fact that when she named her executors and the trustees and so on, she didn't just name one person, right? So you guys will get a chance to take a look at that. Why is it that we don't do a will? Why? Why don't we do it? First, number one reason, we said that we are too busy. We don't have the time. We're poor. We don't have money in the bank, but we're always busy. We don't have the time to do the right things. I want you guys to think about what I'm saying. We say that we don't have enough property. I don't have enough. Why should I do a will? I don't own anything. Still do it. Think about it. You might own more than what you think. It's only when you begin to think about it that you'll say, "Oh, wait a minute, this and that." We say that it is too expensive. It could be, if you go to a big time lawyer, they can charge you a lot. We said that we don't like reading legal documents. Well, ask for help. We will read it for you. Get someone in the church that you trust that can help you read it. Okay? We are unable to know the future. You hear this one? A lot of people say this to me all the time. "Oh, we don't have to worry about these things. God is going to take care of us." So they don't know the future. God is going to take care of them. They don't plan to die. I'm not going to die any now. Some people, you can't even mention death to them because they think you are calling some negative spirit or evil over them. I don't know if you guys meet these kind of people, but yeah, I meet a lot of people in my walk of life, and you can't even begin to talk about insurance, life insurance, or anything like that. They're already no. Don't call. Oh Lord, I dispel all of this, and there are people like that. They don't think that they can die. How many of us lost loved ones during this pandemic that we did not expect would die? And even if we didn't lose anyone, we know someone, right, who did. So life, time is that blessing that we have from God because we did not have to get up this morning. And so we must do everything that we can to learn what we need to do and practice and take actions and make decisions to help ourselves and our church and our family. All right? So just a summary here. So all of the property that you have, you must think about putting it in that will. By the way, you get in touch with me, I can help you with all these things, right? You put it in the will and the court will probate it. The executor, whoever you name, is going to make sure that your funeral is taken care of. If you're no longer here, they'll pay all your bills and everything, and then whatever is left will go over to your beneficiaries. That's one thing that I wanted to make sure that I talk about, only because everywhere I go, people bring up those questions. All right. So now, the 6 things that you're going to work on to help you manage your personal finances. Take action, and at the end of this year, report back how God has blessed you financially. Like your bills are paid and you have excess money and you can do excess things. That's what you're looking for. So the first thing is your mindset. What is your mindset? First thing is your attitude. You got to have a good attitude just about yourself, about the church, about your God, about our beliefs. Like you have to have a really good attitude, because a lot of people, their attitude is very sour. I meet them. You stand up and you preach your heart out and you do a presentation, and the only thing they can see is every negative that they can see. They don't catch anything positive. So I'm not going to say everything that you like, and I'm not going to say everything that maybe meets your fancy. But you should have an open mind and a good attitude to look for what God wants you to see and hear. Am I making sense? Yes. So attitude determines how you look at life, whether you see the glass half empty or whether you're seeing it half full. And we hope that you're going to be positive. Attitude determines how you relate to other people. So you want to have good relationships with the members in the church. You're not going to like I said, everybody. You're not supposed to like everybody. The wheat and tear is going to grow together, right? But our love is for the people of God. Our love is to hope that all of us make it into the kingdom. And we should be praying for that. Even if we don't like a sister or a brother, our attitude, remember, we are talking about God blessing us with that financial blessing. But we cannot have bad attitudes. Attitude determines our successes and our failures in life, and attitude definitely is a choice. That one is a choice. So here's how you develop the right financial mindset. First, you want to evaluate where you are now. Do you get upset because we are talking about finances or money, and we're in church and it's Sabbath and we're trying to keep everything as spiritual as we can, right? Do you get upset about it? Is that your attitude? Do you not want to have to deal with money at all? I had one sister, not my blood sister, but a sister in the church. She passed on now, but her husband used to come to me to do his taxes for many, many years. I never met the wife. He would be the one that come into my office and I would do his tax. And the year that he died, I knew something was wrong. I just didn't pry and I didn't know what it was. So he came in and I did his tax, but I can see that he wasn't well. And just about like a month or just a little bit after, I got a call from his wife, whom I had never met. And she said, "Can you come to the house? You know, so and so passed away." I went to the house, and this is a gentleman, Seventh-day Adventist member of one of our churches right here in Brooklyn. And he owned a couple houses. He was clearly already a millionaire. He had gold, he had currencies, you know, different country, and he had a lot of money in the bank, retirement, all this thing. And this wife knew nothing. She didn't know where anything was, right? She did not know what to do. So it is important that you evaluate your mindset towards money. You and your spouse should be talking together. You don't know when something may happen to your spouse. If she's the one that handles all the finances, you need to know where things are also. Is your attitude, "I'm the type of wife that my husband does with the money, I don't have nothing to do with it"? Hopefully not. So you have to figure out what is your present attitude, how you feel about money. Then you want to learn to be responsible with it. Once you figure that out, you want to take responsibility. You cannot waste the little or that God has given you, because then you can't make room for plenty, right? And then you must choose to change your financial attitude. Like, just put it into the hands of God. And I start with the mindset, because if you are sitting here and you don't believe that God is going to bless you financially, that's the wrong space. Because if God says he's going to do it, he is going to do it. But if you can't even accept that, then mentally, you're not in the right space to think to be even one of God's rich that can help and bless the church. And that's something you have to determine. Okay, the book of Proverbs talks about the rich and the poor. They both belong to God, and God blesses them both. You just have to, in your mind, figure out, that's the first thing, mentally, what is your mindset? So let's say you get the mindset right. Someone mentioned that today, that one of the things to have good financial, strong financial strength is a budget. So now that you believe and trust how God is going to bless you, you have the mindset to receive that blessing. Now you want to manage it. And the way to do that is to make sure that you have what? That budget. We talked about this here in this church already. Why do you need a budget? What is it anyhow? It's a financial plan, right? If you're driving, you're leaving Queens to come here, and this place is new to you, you're going to be using your GPS, right? That's your plan. That's your route to take you where you want to go. If you're going to operate your house, or you're going to operate this church without a budget, you don't know where you're going, because you must have a plan, and that's what your budget is. So one of the reasons why most of us sitting here have already earned more than $1 million in our lifetimes. Actually, if you work for 25 years and you make $40,000 a year, you already made $1 million. You're the one that have to think about it. Well, how did I really manage that? We know that the government will take their portion. We know that our tithe and offering got to go, right? Well, what did we do with the rest? And that's where your budget comes in. So I got to give you practical tools, because I know that it's only when I put these things in place that I began to see that I was spending the right way, and spending for the right things, and spending that was pleasing to God, and giving that was joyous to the Lord. And all of a sudden, Lenny and I was able to just pull out cash and buy a house. No mortgage, no anything. And I'm just saying that these things happen when you begin to make the conscious decision to practically do what you need to do. So you need a budget. Can I see the hands of those of you who do have one? 1, 3, 4. Okay, 5. I congratulate the 5 of you. Are you sticking to it? Yes? Sometimes the thing about it is if you do gonna have make a budget, you gotta stick to that budget. Don't break it. Don't break it for anyone. Okay? Now these are the basics here that you want to make sure that within your budget. So your income must equal to your expense. For those of you, the majority of you do not have one. So get in touch with me. I will email you one. It's the template is already made. And all you have to do is just plug your expenses in, right? And make sure that income equals expenses. Make sure that you're not spending more than that you're earning. That's right. What happens if you're spending more than what's, than your income that's coming in? Huh? You have to fix it because it's going to drag you down to the ground. You'll always be juggling, trying to figure it out, right? Because you're making 80,000 a year, but when you look at all your bills and everything, you're spending 90,000 a year. You're going to be in debt and you're going to be in trouble. And I think even in our churches, some of our churches are even experiencing that. You just don't have enough money to pay all the bills. And it's God's responsibility to provide that money. But who is he going to provide it to? It's not going to fall from a tree. He's going to provide it to you, the members. So you guys now, when he sends you something, you have to manage it, which means you need to make sure that your budget is intact. Income equal expenses. If you find that you're spending more than what's coming in, you've got to cut your expenses. If you don't cut your expenses, then you want to bring in more income. And I think you guys understand that. So your budget must be realistic, it must be flexible, you must review it every 6 months. You want to take a look at your budget and review it. And then, of course, you can always reward yourself. These are 3 things that I do always with my budget. You make sure that your income is equal to your expense. Make sure that your very first expense is your tithe and your offering. Okay? So you don't pay all your bills and then try to figure out, all right, I'm going to church now. You're rushing, and trying to figure out what to write on the envelope. Or you wait until you reach here and you know that the tithe and offering time is coming up and you're now trying to figure out what to write. No, 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 no. Tithe and offering first. And if you have your budget, that becomes very easy. So you do that first and you figure the rest. Even you do not cheat on your tithe and offering to be able to pay rent. And God can bless you. You have to be faithful. Like, that's not even a choice for people of God who says we want to make it into heaven. Are there going to be unfaithful people in heaven? Like, you guys are not even sure. Are you sure that you're going to heaven? Are you sure that heaven is a real place? Okay. And you're going there. So you got to understand that you got to be faithful. So tithe and offering first. And I know that you might be saying, oh my goodness, I can't make up my rent. I can't go to Mr. Jones today and tell him I don't have it. He's going to this, he's going to, never mind Mr. Jones. You take care of your tithe and offering and then you watch and see what God is going to do. Now, I'm not telling you to be the type of Christians that don't care about their landlords. We have a lot of Seventh-day Adventists who they rent and they're not faithful to their landlords. I know that because we own property. Yeah. And we have had a really rough time with tenants. But God's people, you want God to pay that rent for you and he will. Just be faithful. And the next thing, always write your savings and as an expense on your budget. So we know that when you're saving a little money, We know that it's not a bill that you're paying, but you treat it like a bill. The same way you put aside $100 to pay that cell phone. I know that every one of you make sure that your cell phone gets paid. I know that because you don't want to leave without your cell phone. You want to take those pictures. You want to be on Facebook. You want to be able to log in into your bank account and all the things that we can do with this little computer in our back pockets now, right? And so we make sure that that bill gets paid. Well, you want to treat your savings just like that. Hands-on. We're talking about hands-on things that practically that you can do so that God can see the ways in which he can bless you. Number two. So number one was the mindset. Number two was your budget. Okay. So every week you should lay up. This is what Ellen White says. I read this here before, Selected Messages, book 2. Okay. That you are to save up some money in a secure place. And I spoke to you guys about this before. What is a secure place? It's definitely not the bank. We talked, oh no, it's not under the mattress. We talked about this already here. Yes? Yeah, I did. I remember us talking about it. You were saying something. No. Okay. So every week, meaning consistently save. Do not save $100 this time you get paid, and the next time you get paid, you don't save, and the next time you say, oh, I can't save anything, and then the next time you try to save a little bit. That is not consistent, it's not systematic, and we want to save systematically just as how we want to give systematically. Herein lies the principle to receive the blessings of God. So do it consistent, put it in a right place. We'll share that place again. $5 or $10. Please do not save $5 a month. And please don't tell me that's all you can save. Even if you're getting a Social Security check, you can save more than $5 a month. Back in Sister Y days, that was $5. In today's day, it's not $5. Okay? You want to save like about $200 in today's money. 200, 400 a month. That's your salary? No. And again, remember what we said about the attitude. If you tell God you want to save $200 a month, trust me, you're saving $200 a month. If you tell yourself you can't do it, then you have already defeated. The angels can't even help you to get that $200 because you already tell yourself, how can I do that? What do you mean, how can you do it? God says he owns everything. Like, it's so hard. We want to change that mindset. Just give it a shot, give it a try. So save 400, save it. When you save it, do not use it. Do not use it. Except in the case of sickness or to do something for the work of God, or you actually have a real reason to do it. And the real reason is not to go to Dubai. The real reason is not for your friends to call you up and say, let's just take a trip and have fun. You're going to kill your blessings. I'm just telling you, honestly. Give it a shot. Economy. So you must economize, okay? And you want to put your money where you're getting what? Interest. Interest. Yeah, 0.01. That's what the bank is paying. So we know that the bank is not the place. And if you put some money in the bank, right? That money in the bank is just really for your emergency fund. That's not your wealth. You're not becoming wealthy in a bank. Just know that. Now, wise management, we talk about that already. And you want to pay your debts. So the Lord is saying here, save something after you pay off your debts. Say something. Don't run away owing people. Okay, I want somebody to, because I'm seeing hands, I think it's only fair because I know I'm moving on to other topics. So could somebody be responsible? Yes, thank you so much. To pass the mic on. Oh, there we go. Um, I'm seeing this young lady hand here. Over here, sir.
Okay, I'm just curious. You don't put it, you don't put it in the bank. You put it at home. Could you get interest at home with it? No. The bank, when you put it in the bank, you get next kin to nothing. So where should you put it?
I'm coming to that.
Oh, hallelujah.
Do you think that's the $1 million question? Do you guys think that that's the $1 million question? Right, so that's why I'm the $1 million girl. I'm going to give you the $1 million answer. I just want to make sure that what God sent me here to say, that I get it into your minds before I am going to answer your question, for sure. Okay, but we do know that, was there another hand? Can you wait for the mic because there are people who are on Zoom? Yes.
Oh, okay. The question is, rather than a set fee, 200, 400, why not use a percentage of your gross?
Of course, if you can, yeah. That's
Because it would be consistent, like, for example, later you get a raise, you could, if you're, that 3% becomes a larger number.
absolutely, yes. This is why with the tithe and offering, the Lord asks for 1/10 of your increase. Because back then, the Israelites, they had cattle and, different produce that they grow and things like that. So 10% of your increase. So if there's a month where you have a bigger inflow of your cash, then that 10% would be bigger. And yes, if you're going to save 1% or 2%, right? Think about it. The world is trying to tell us to do that because government knows that Social Security in the next about 11 years or so is not going to be around. This is why they have encouraged employers to force you, to put in those 4%, 2%, 6%, you're talking about percentages of your income into a 401k plan because they know you have to save for your own retirement. They see what is happening, right? So we have to see what is happening too. We cannot be God's people and be blind and just sit down and wait for when things happen and then say, well, I'm praying to God, but God is not answering. God is answering you now. That's why Dr. Daly is at this church, and that's why he's working with faith and finance, and that's why he's bringing in different people, because God is working with you and he's showing you what you need to do. Now you must have the mindset to accept that. The next thing you want to do is, another question, sorry. Yes, please use them. Oh, my sister again, who's waiting on an answer. And that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. When you take your tithing, you take it, you tithing from the gross.
Some people do that.
Right. Well, you must do that from your gross.
Well, I wouldn't say must, it depends. Some people take it from their net, what they come home with.
Okay, right. But what I'm saying, when you take your tithing and your offering from that,
Yes.
it's not your gross anymore.
No.
Okay.
That's what we call you're left with. Well, after you pay all your bills,
Right,
you're
you
left with your
leverage
disposable
whatever
income.
leave back.
Yes.
And you must take your tithing first and your offering first.
Mm-hmm.
So you whatever leave, you have to play with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. You got it right. And that's one of the I call it the hole in the pipeline. Because, if you have a pipe and water is flowing through that pipe, you have a couple holes in there, you'll always be losing. You don't see where you're losing because it's so innocent. So God is blessing you with a job. The boss is paying you. The government takes theirs out first. We understand that. You're coming home with X amount. The church is teaching you to do that 10% or that 15%, or 20% if you want to double tide. What do you do with the 80% that is left? That's what I'm here to teach you. What do you do with that 80%? Because that is what God is now going to multiply for you. Make sense, everybody? All right. So get your mindset right. Work on your budget. After this section, I'll take your question. Is it on this same topic? All right, let's take another one and then we try to move on.
You said just now, I'm not sure if it's we should we take out a 401k? That's what you said?
Oh, no, I didn't say that. I
Oh,
said
because
that
that don't
the,
pay
the
either.
employers encourage that on the job. It might be a 401k, it could be a 403b, or it could be a 457, any one of those type of retirement plans, because they want you to put your salary in there in the hope that when you retire, that you will have something to live on, because there is no surety that you'll be getting that Social Security check. What? Use the mic.
I have a 401k, but it doesn't pay much, especially with the bank. It's a waste of time.
Well, after I leave here today, maybe you will do something different. The thing is, again, if we do nothing different, then nothing is going to change. That's why we are here. So I hope you would do something different with your 401k, because people are losing it in the stock market, right? That's what I call a hole in the pipeline. You don't see when it's going out, because you just blindly let them take your salary and drop it in there. You're not even looking at it until when you think you have a need for it. This one lady that came into Wall Street, this Jewish lady, she came down into Wall Street and she was so excited that she was finally retired. She worked for more than 40 years as a teacher. So she had a really nice New York City retirement type of plan, but she never looked at it for many, many years. She said, that's going to be for my grandchild. And when she walked into the office and we took a look at it, she didn't even understand that she had already passed the age to take out the required minimum distribution amounts. And so she wasn't taking it out. And the IRS has a 50% penalty. She lost so much money, the lady could have cried. She didn't know. So as God's people, we may not know everything, but when God bring people before you, you have a responsibility to try to learn. Don't wait until retirement to figure out how is this thing going to work for you. You want to look at that now. Okay? So the next thing you want to do as a practical, wait, there's another hand? No, okay. All right, because I want to get to your question, but you guys gotta let us do that. You want to set up your emergency in the bank. That's where you might want to keep your emergency fund. Why? Because it's accessible to you. Well, right now it is. Now we're hearing a lot of things about banks maybe closing and the dollar is devaluing, and we're paying attention and we're listening, right? There's a lot of talking in the back, like there's a second type of class going on in the back there. And I may have to pass the mic over there to hear what is being said. And that's okay. You want to share? All right. No, because sometimes you might have a point that is helpful to everyone. Did you want the mic? Okay, please pass the mic. Because I can see that the conversation was strong.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My husband had, it wasn't 401k, it was 401b.
403B.
But I
Mhm.
guess they didn't explain it to him
Okay.
that he couldn't just take a loan out. I guess he should have asked for a withdrawal, but he kept taking out loans and loans and loans. And when he passed, there was nothing inside there, and he had over 200 and something thousand before he passed. But when he passed, he owed so much money that there was nothing left.
We might have to do a class on just retirement, maybe on one of the Wednesday nights. Could you guys tune in to prayer meeting for the month, every Wednesday night for the month of May? I will be presenting, and I can do a class on just retirement for you. You all think? Yes? Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow, look at that. We passed out some surveys today to ask you to write down, the financial areas that you might want to learn more about. And the number one area is retirement planning, what we are just talking about. All right? So I'll definitely cover. Huh? You want me to read the rest? So number one was retirement planning. Number two was how to start a business. Okay, I can do that for you, right? So some of you might want to think about either a corporation, a C Corp, S Corp, or an LLC. Maybe you just want to do a sole proprietorship, maybe a medical missionary, and you want to officially start your business. So I'll do that on one of the Wednesday nights. I'll do retirement for you. The next one was how to get out of debt. Oh, wow. Okay. And yeah, we can do that too. Okay. And the next one was personal money management, which is some of the things we are talking about now, like budgeting and having your emergency funds and so on. So these topics were really, really good. One person said they're interested in investing. Yeah, and I wish we had more on that. And 11 people are interested in home ownership. So you see, I didn't even want to talk about these things today, Pastor could tell you. I went, I see a hand, Elder, I see a hand. I went to, um, I went to a financial seminar myself, right? To do personal development for myself as well. And 40,000 people was there. And I was there too. And there was so many millionaires that was in that arena. This was in Las Vegas. And I didn't go for no gambling or anything. There are some people, they go to these conventions, but on their off time, they go to gambling. That, I'm not into that. And when Sabbath came, I left and I went to church. And then I came back and I went to this seminar. At the end of the seminar, I was like so shocked. At the end of the seminar, these line of millionaires lined up the stage and they brought on their kids. I'm talking about uh, Caucasian people, Asian people, Hispanic people, everybody. There was very few, very few. There was this one Haitian guy that was a millionaire there. Daniel, I forgot his name. Anyway, Dan Chalier. He's a big time speaker. You could Google him, Charlier. Anyway, I was on that stage. Okay, hold your hands. I see you. I'm going to share this quick testimony. At the end of the presentation, they brought up all their kids 17 years old, 15 years old, 4 years old, 3 years old. Those kids who couldn't walk, they were in their parents' arms. And they brought them up on the stage and put medallions around their neck and high five all these little kids and say to them that they were going to be the next millionaires in the country. And I was sitting way up in Las Vegas, and it's way up, 40,000 people. And I was just there by myself. And I was just watching this, and I said, wow. The attitude of these kids already is that their parents are doing things to help them. We need the money so that the work of God could continue. They need the money so that they can drive the most expensive cars and live in the biggest mansions and all of that. That's not our thing. But we need the money as much as they need the money. But they were preparing the minds. This is why I say it's about the mind. Some of us just don't believe it. We don't believe that God can make us wealthy. We just don't. So I have 3 hands to take, and then I'm pushing on. So the one in the white, there was a gentleman right here, was first. I see your hand. You was first. Well, who's passing the mic? Yes. Oh, he has it. Go ahead.
It's on. So, social security. Social Security, we just touched on
Social
that.
Security, yes.
From what I'm seeing on from a lot of advisors and so on, the grim news, bad news, is that it may eventually be that Social Security payments will be cut about 25%. Maybe in, as you said, I think 14 years or so.
11 to 14
Yeah,
years.
I think that's the ultimate plan, that they don't want to sell it. It's hard to sell.
It's on. We're
Yeah,
hearing him.
it's a hard plan to sell to Americans, but it may be inevitable that Social Security may be cut 25%.
Thank you for sharing that. And Social Security is the only income for most seniors. I don't know what they are going to do. Yes, Johan is the next, but give her the mic, but hold it for a minute. According to the Wharton School of Business, Social Security is in a lot of trouble because many years ago, many people used to work to put money in the plan. Today, they just have about, like a quarter of that of people that are putting money in the plan. Because of better health, because of people exercising and becoming vegetarians, and people in the world too, they're better healthier than we are, and people are living longer. So if you put in 40,000 in the pot, but you keep living and you're getting a check for the rest of your life, you have already gotten all the money that you put in. Now you're taking money from somebody else. So people are living longer and they are depleting the Social Security pot, and less people are working to put money in. And they are looking at the numbers and they know that they are in trouble. So this is why they tell you to take out an IRA, an individual retirement account. Start saving for your own retirement. I have the better thing to tell you where to put it. And we're coming to that. Next question.
No, I have a question, and it's something that is burning deep within. And I don't know if it's rumor, so I want to hear it from you.
Okay.
They say we are coming up to a cashless society. And I'm wondering, what are we going to do with money? I'm even saying to myself that if I have enough money, I would maybe invest it in a home or something before the government takes that money and I can't use it. So I said, I'm not in any rush to save my money because I'm not going to able to use it. I'd rather buy a home or a car or something where that money will have value. So could you give me some, updates on what's going on now, please? Thank you.
My husband and I talk about that all the time. Yeah, they have this CB, the central banking digital currency, right? The CBDC. And it is, okay, I'm seeing all the hands going up. Come, Pastor. Come, Pastor.
There's a mic here. I'm saying, folks, this is one of the hottest subject on the internet, on Fox News, and all those news. I don't think we could do justice by just answering that question right now. You guys would agree with that?
Yes.
It's going to need to take a little time. This could be a whole afternoon discussion, about the recent development, the de-dollarization of the American currency, the alternative BRICS currency that is also being formed right now for this, and what will happen, the same digital currency that you're talking about. I think it would not be fair for us just to mention it here. I don't know what you think, Anne-Marie.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to come with some document, because there's also a lot of conspiracy theories that you have to separate them from the real thing. So it's another thing that we can probably do. We'll talk about that.
But it makes sense though. It makes sense to keep studying on it.
Yes.
Keep asking questions, getting your answers. And I like the idea that you said that if you have some money now, you want to put it into something tangible, right? So if you can get piece of property, get your country land, if you want to do those type of things, all of that makes sense. God is going to take care of us as it relates to all of that, but that doesn't mean that we should not be discussing it and looking at what's really happening.
Yes, I really want that to be a whole 2-hour discussion, because it's so exciting.
You have a hand over here
Yeah,
first. Okay.
what I notice, we don't teach people in the church that Moses and all those people were rich men. And Solomon, most of these prophets.
And Job.
Yeah, but we don't teach that in this church. Eh? Why they were rich? Most of the time, these people give to other people. And we need to teach the people in the church, especially black people, that we should not be afraid of money. But it seems like we are afraid of money and we don't want to invest in nothing at all. We just sit down, and most of the rich people is white and was what you say. You understand? We need money, because if we had money, even this church, what we are going through, you understand? As what pastor says, like he's more poor people here. We are not investing. We don't, as black people, we don't like to take chances. And all the prophets were rich people.
Well, there's a lot of poor white people too, so it's, money is relative, right? So, but we know that what we have, which is the blessing, is the instructions from God. That's what we have. Is whether we are going to do. The Lord say, put the money to interest. You're not going to get interest with it under the mattress. You're not going to get interest in the bank.
That's where
You're
I'm
not going to
going.
get interest digging and putting it under the earth. So what we are doing here is to educate you what you need to do.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. That's where I was going, because that seemed to be a burning question for most of us.
Yeah.
You have $500 in the bank. you know you're not getting any interest on
10
it.
cents.
So,
Do you know
well,
why? Do you know why? Okay.
all of that,
So I'm going to
all
jump
of
the
that
presentation.
we're interested in.
Okay.
Where can we put that $500 that we took
Yes,
10
ma'am.
years to save? Where can we put it so we can get a little more interest rather than in the
I
bank?
am going to jump a little bit. I
But
may not,
Anne-Marie,
I may
but
not get.
I think Capital One is one of the banks now that is giving about 3 or 4% interest on your money. I know if you check that out right now. 4.95, Capital One is giving you now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
but
have a
just one right
a
now.
high yield
Yeah.
account that you can invest in. I want to jump. I'm not going to cover this whole presentation. I want to jump a little bit so that we can go over the rule of 72 with you, because this is going to teach you how your money works. Okay? And this is why you have $500, you have $5,000 in the bank, you're getting 17 cents interest or next to nothing. So let's just talk about this, everybody. Let's just get everybody's attention and let's refocus a little bit. If you do not understand the rule of 72, you're not going to understand how money works. So let's take some time and look at it, because it's really simple and it's not taught in schools. So your children are not going to learn this, and your grandchildren are not going to learn it. And it doesn't matter how many Dave Ramseys or Susie Ornans or how many that the big financial gurus come around, they try to give you practical tools also. But a lot of times people have to take you by the hand and teach you, because this is how you're going to know what you want to do. So the rule of 72 is simple. All of us understand a little bit of math, right? We don't have to be a whiz. You take 72 and divide it by the interest that they are offering you on your money. Always 72. Okay? So on the screen, thank you for put it back up. There you go. In the first column, you see a 29-year-old person. Too small. Let me talk it. Just follow me. A person is 29 years old. Their great-great-grandmother died and left them $10,000. They invest that $10,000, but they're only getting 1%. The rule of 72 says, take 72 and divide by the interest. 72 divided by 1 is going to give you what? 72. It's going to take 72 years for that $10,000 to double. So now that 29-year-old person, after 72 years, is now 101-year-old, and all they have is 20,000. Let's bring it down to terms. You have $500 in the bank. You're getting less than 1%. If you were even getting 1%, it will take you 72 years for that $500 to become $1,000, to double. That's the rule. Now look at the last column. This is what the wealthy people has. They have a jump on us because they understand the rule of 72. So now this same person who is 29 years old, great-great-grandmother died, left them with 10,000. But they're not getting 1%. They're getting how much? 10%. So now take 72 and divide by the interest. What is 72 divided by 10? Is it not 7.2? So the wealthy people, every 7 years, their money is doubling. Okay? So the person starts off with 10,000. 7 years later, they have 20,000. 7 years later, they have 40,000. 7 years later, they have 80,000. By the time they retire at age 72, they have 640,000. On the other hand, our people, we are getting to 100 years old and have 10,000, which is better. You can see it, right? Now, flip that around. Now you have a credit card. Now you're not putting your $500 in the bank, you're actually borrowing $500 from the bank on a credit card. Credit card is charging you 24% interest. Take the rule of 72. 72 divided by the interest. What is 72 divided by 24? Is it not 3? Every 3 years, what you owe them is doubling. Do you understand? It's taking us 7,000 years actually for our money to double. But every time we owe them money, what we owe them is doubling every 3 years. We cannot get out of the debt. This is why the mortgages take so long to pay off. This is why the student loans is so horrible. You never want to owe the IRS. They charge you a 9% interest compounded on a daily basis. So when you do not understand compound interest, Albert Einstein says, if you do not understand compound interest, then you will pay it. And the people who understand it, like the wealthy, they earn it. So where can you put the money where you're getting 10%, where you're getting 15% and 22% and 30%? That is the $1 million question. And that's what we're going to cover. So I have skipped a lot because I realized that it's late and you have a lot of questions. You what? All right.
Do you want to hear what she skipped, everybody? Are you satisfied now with what you've just gotten?
Continue.
Shh, everybody's talking. Do you want her to continue? Okay, so
Yes.
Anne-Marie, can you?
Yes, I'll continue, and then on Wednesday night,
Will.
I'll fill in the gaps.
Yes, okay.
What we missed, like getting out of debt, and since that's one.
Because you were supposed to give us about 6 or 7 principles this evening, right? I think we got about 3 or so. But again, you have to know if you can do it or not. But the saints are ready. We'll go till 6:30.
The saints are ready to hear where to put their money, because I am sensing it.
Yes.
Okay.
Let them get more anxious. Don't tell them no.
All right. So now that you know how money works,
Is there any question on this one that you just presented?
let's talk about that. Get the mic.
The mic.
Elder with the mic. Okay. You know, I hold on, my sister. By the way, oh my God, you can sing. Woo, you have such a beautiful talent. Hold on a second, guys. You know, we really appreciate that you guys came back, okay? I just wanted to say that. And we also appreciate that you have questions and we want to answer them, okay? Yeah.
So I just needed verification when you said now you know how compound interest works. Is compound interest the law of 72?
Is it what?
The rule of 72, is that the same? Or can you just be very specific as to exactly what is compound interest?
Right, so compound interest is money compounding on top of money. So there is simple interest and there is compound interest, right? So let's make the numbers easy. Let's say you have $100 and you're getting 10% interest, right? And it's simple interest. So what's 10% on $100? It's 10, right? So you will have now $110. So simple interest is just giving you the 10% on your original capital. The compound interest is compounding now. So now you have 110, and now you're getting 10% on top of 110, right? Which is 11. So now you have 121, and then that's compounded, and that's compounded, right? So compound interest is something that you want to earn as opposed to simple interest. And you want to make sure that you have your monies invested where you cannot lose it and where it's being compounded using the example of the rule of 72. because that gives you an idea as to if you know that you're getting X amount, 5%, 10%, 4%. Somebody says there's a 360 account that can give you 4.5. Well, you take 72 divided by 4, you'll get 18. It's still going to take you 18 years before that little $500 double. It gives you an idea as to how your money is going to work for you. That is how money works. Right. Okay. Mike? Yeah, so this is where we're heading now. How do you go ahead and start the investment? Yeah. All right. So we all on the same wavelength? Okay. So now we are going on as to the options of your money and how it gets to grow, which I covered here before, but like sometimes you have to do it more than once. Yeah, we're getting there. It's not, we know where it's not. We know it's not in the bank if you want it to grow, but your emergency fund, yes. We know it's not in a susu, or some people call it a partner. We do a lot of those, but you don't gain in that either, right? Am I speaking the truth? Okay. So now let's talk about where. Where do you invest, right? So here in the country, you have 3 main places that your money can grow for you. So 85% of America put their money in fix, what we call fix, right? So either you have it in the bank, you have it in a checking account, you have it in a savings account, you have it in a 360 account, you have it in a CD. You're getting a little bit, but it's taking you many years for you to experience any real growth. And you're not becoming wealthy because if you're only getting 4.5%, but the inflation rate is 7 or 8, are you becoming wealthy? You're making a little bit, but your cost of living is twice the amount that you're making. Are you becoming wealthy? No. Look, if you guys are going to be my students, you got to be sure of what I'm saying. No, you're not, right? So 85% of us put our money there in something that is fixed. That's all we know. And the reason why we do it is because we believe that it is safe. My money is safe in the bank. That's what we believe. But little do you understand that the bank takes my little bit and Pastor Daly's little bit and your little bit and everybody's little bit, and the bank pulls it and send it to, that's what I'm going to show with you. And that's where you need to be sending your money. So 85% of the country, we are doing wrong. We already know that. 85% of us sitting here, we already doing it the wrong way. Now, another 10% of the country is very business savvy. Those are the people that put their money in variable. You see that? Stock market goes up and they're making money. Some of them lots of money. But what happened when stock market goes down? They're losing it. The sister in the back talked about her husband having over $200,000 in his 403B plan. And still the family end up with nothing. So 10%, though they are more business savvy, the reason why they go into the stock market, that's variable, into the 401ks, into the 403bs, the 457 plans, the IRAs. That's what we're investing in, the stocks and the bonds and the cryptocurrencies and all of that. That's where people are investing, and that is considered variable. You can make money, yes, but it is what? Very risky. So in the bank, you have a low rate of return. You don't get nothing, but it's safe. In the stock market, you have a very high rate of return, but it's very risky, right? So what's the third option? index. I taught you guys that here before. This is what you need to be learning about, and this is where you need to invest. Anything that is index, whether it be your life insurance that is index, whether it be your annuities that is index, those are the things that we are doing for members now. We are rolling their money out of those 401ks. You can never lose anything, you can only grow in the index. Index was designed to eliminate all of the market risk for the 85%, 10%, the 5% in the country, the Oprah Winfrey's and the wealthy, you know, the Tyler Perry's and the wealthy people of this world, they all understand indexing. So 5% of the country is becoming more and more and more wealthy because all of their market risk have been eliminated. So when the market goes up, let me see if I could. Yes, that's coming. What kind of index? So understand it first. It's like you're climbing a step. So when the market goes up, I see your hand, hold it, I'm coming to you. When the market goes up, you're going to make money as if you're not in the stock market, you know, but you're going to be paid, the wealthy is paid as if you're in the stock market. But when the market drops and the 10% of us who have money there, we are losing. Your gains, the wealthy gains, they are locked in. So market goes up, you make money. Market goes down, you are locked in. It's level. You see, it's like a step. Market goes up, you're making money. Market goes down, they hold you level, flat. They hold all your gains in there for you. And all of it is tax-free. Imagine you can grow $1 million. I told you the story this morning of my mentor with her son, just 6 months old. And at the age of 24 years old, have $500,000. 35 years old, $1 million. Retire at 66 years old, 4-point-something million dollars. You can do something index that will not allow you to lose. It will only allow you to grow and save and protect everything that you have. So again, if you want to get a life insurance policy that can put some money in there, you're paying a premium, I agree. Everybody has life insurance, right? Hopefully, okay? But we have the wrong type. You want to get an index plan because you can throw all of your savings in there instead of throwing it in a 401k, and it will double up so fast for you. You won't believe when you became wealthy. This is what parents have been setting up for their children. So you can do the life insurance, but if you're too older or you're sick and no company wants to cover you with an index life insurance plan, then you can get an index annuity. You don't have no blood work to do. Nobody checks you out. You take your own money and you roll it into that. And if you are young and you want to make a career of this, I will teach you how to do it if you think that is something that you want to do. Okay, I see a hand in the back. So that's the answer to your question. You want to get an index life insurance policy or you want to get an index annuity? Okay. Whose hand was up first, Pastor? Okay. Over here first. Okay. Sorry.
I'm just curious, this word index. Do all the insurance companies sell index insurances? So where would I go to find index?
Okay, so you can come to me and I will lead you to those people who have
And
it.
all the other
So let
investment-
me give you the names of some companies, if that's what you're asking for.
Yes.
Because I know it's still Sabbath, I don't really want to promote any particular company, but you can get in touch with me. There's Nationwide, that's a big company. Transamerica, that's a big company. Fidelity and Guarantee, that's a big company. There's a lot of companies, but I know Primerica do not have that. I know New York Life doesn't have that, and that's what most people buy. They buy term policies that does not give them
There's
any
nothing. That's
interest.
true. That's true.
And if the term runs out, the policy is dead. You have to die in order to be paid. The other thing about what I will show you, if you want to call me personally, that's fine, is that now you have living benefits with the new kinds. What does that mean? That means if you get an index plan, you pay for it for 1 month, $300 a month or whatever you want to put in, because it's flexible what you put in, and you die next week, right? They'll pay your family. But what if you don't die, but you're in an accident and you get sick? You call them and they'll cut the $1 million and give you while you're sick and while you're alive. You don't have to die for other people to collect. So these are things that members just don't know exist. And don't try going and asking some of these financial advisors, because they're not going to tell you these things, because I told you already, only 5% of America know about this.
Okay, apart from the insurance companies,
Yes.
what are the other investors or investment companies that you can buy index into?
You're not going to find any, because the
So how
other
would-
investment companies, they want to sell you stocks and bonds and 401ks and mutual funds and IRAs. And what else are they going to sell you? Or gold. They might sell you gold or silver. And a lot of people,
So
they're not
for-
logging around with gold anymore anyhow.
So for instance, you have MCU, John Hancock, and all those people.
Right.
Suppose I want to tap into one of them and buy some index.
You're not going to get it. I told you 5% of the country has this. You're just not. All right? But you're welcome to pick up the phone and call them and ask them if they have it. I've been around, I'm licensed in 13 states. I know what I'm talking about.
Then,
You do what I did. One of our former treasurers, he just passed away, Elder Agboka. He was our treasurer here at Northeastern, and I worked under him. I was his assistant treasurer for the conference. I worked with him for 6.5 years, and he's the one that invited me down to Wall Street to learn about indexing. With all my education, I never knew about it if it wasn't for him. And when I saw this, asked my husband, I came home and I said, Lenny, I saw something today, and this is what our people are lacking, because even if you want to grow $4 million, if you need to have $4 million in the next 10, 15 years, I can set you up that you have that. That's what the wealthy people has. That's what your church needs. You understand? And I went home and I said, did I not say to you, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to go. I went down to Wall Street and I spent 6.5 years with this Jewish millionaire to learn from her, and I learned what to do. So I know what to do, and I have been teaching it to our people, how to do it. And that's the difference between the big financial gurus. They have a lot of knowledge, but they're not going to hold your hand and show you this is how you're going to do it. So it exists. Okay? So for some of you, you might want to email me and let me send you tons of videos of people who have collected 700,000, 400,000 because they got sick. And they're alive and they're well. You don't have to pay the money back. The wealthy people, you don't pay no tax. You just have to believe. That's what faith is about. God is not going to bring something in the church to you and it sounds too good to be true. I know that. But if you listen and you watch all the videos, if you're that type of person, right, because 25% of America, they need to have the facts, right? I told you, some just need to have fun. But there are some people that need the facts, and that's fine, because we all survive together. And I can send you lots of videos, and you can call the folks and talk to them and things like that. Yes. Next. Oh, over here. Sorry.
I
And
thought
then
you
you.
had your time.
Okay, so I have two questions. One is, you said that you cannot lose. And that just echoes of too good to be true for me. So explain to me how it is that you cannot
Yes, because when the market goes up, you're going to gain because the market is rising. And if the market is paying 10% or 20%, then the monies that you're putting into your insurance plan, as opposed to putting it into your 401k plan, it will go up. But now when the market drops, the people that have their money in the 401k, their money is going to drop. Your money, because it's not in a 401k, it's not in the stock market, it is in an insurance plan. So because you're not investing in the market, it locks it in with a zero floor. So anytime the stock market goes down below zero, you're not making money, but you're not losing money. So it holds it there for you until the market bounces back up again. So I know it's too good to be true.
Yes.
And I tried to get one for me, and I'm going to be very honest. Because I had cancer, nobody wants to cover me. The companies, the insurance companies. And it is under insurance. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to sell you insurance. I'm here to tell you that the IRS and the government, when these plans were put together, it was put under an insurance company. It's the only place you can buy it. Why? The law is insurance companies are the only companies in the world that you can grow $1 million, $2, $5, $10 million and never pay tax. So the wealthy people understand that because they created it. So you have to get it from an insurance company. So don't say, I don't believe in insurance. Just understand how to use it. Because you cannot drive a car without insurance. Is it not so? Yeah. Do you have to understand it? You don't. You cannot drive a car without it. And even if you paid Geico for 10 years and you never got in an accident, Geico is not giving you the 10 years of money back. So this is why the insurance companies are so wealthy. If you get a term life insurance and you paid for it for 20 years, you run out of the term, your money is gone, now you have nothing, now you're too old to get a next one, you can't afford it because you're 20 years older. Why not lock yourself into an index plan while you are young? I did one on yesterday for a child, 9 years old. The parent wanted to make sure that they had about $4 or $5 million in the next few years, right? It's not the child's money because the parent owns the policy. So the parent now, you set up your own bank in there. And now you can borrow from yourself to pay off your mortgage. Like all of the things, some of you bought my book, you didn't read it. Some of you in this church bought my book. I remember I sold out right outside there. I wrote about it. You didn't read it and how it works. So that's your one question.
All right, I had two. Here's the second question.
Hold on.
So you said, if you meet in an accident, you can get your money. Under what other circumstances do I have access to my money? Because, Sister Dell mentioned the 403B, where there's you cannot withdraw before a certain time. Right. If you withdraw within a certain window, you have penalties. And then after that, you have to take out or you're going to incur penalties.
Of course.
How does it work with this? How do I get my money? Like if I have $4 million on paper and I don't have access to it, to me, that's not money.
No, you're going to have access.
I want to be able to go there and make it rain.
Yes. Okay, beautiful. I love it. So, with the 403B plans and the 401k plans, you put aside your money while you're working and you are not allowed to touch that money until you reach 59 and a half years old, right? Everybody knows that. Yes? Okay. Yeah. So it's like your money is in jail because you can't touch it. You can, but if you do, you're going to pay the tax now. Uncle Sam says, okay, you want to take the money out, I want the tax now, but let's leave this for when I teach you about retirement now. Okay, we're going to get to that on one of the Wednesday night. We'll talk about retirement. So yes, your money is in jail, you can't take it out, you got those penalties. If you do take it out when you hit 72 years old, used to be 70 and a half, but because of COVID, they kind of raised the age up a little bit. And when you hit 72, because they want to hold the money longer, right? They want you to get to the point where you die and you just never get to take your money out. So you have to take it out, else you will incur that 50% IRS penalty. With the IUL, it's different. So with the IUL, you put your money in and you overfund it. So let's say your insurance costs $200 a month based on your age and your health. But you say, you know what? I'm going to put 400 a month in. So you're paying for the insurance, but you also have a second bucket. That bucket, we cannot say in investing because you're not in the stock market, right? So we have to say that you're overfunding your insurance plan. We have to tell you the truth. We can't make you believe that you have an investment. So now that money, when the market goes up, that $200 is going to grow. And it's going to grow according to the rule of 72. So if you're getting 10, 20%, could you imagine all 2 years, 3 years, that money is doubling up on you? You want to overfund it as much as you can. As that money grows in cash value, from the time you have cash value, you can say, I want to borrow from myself, or you can say, I want to make a withdrawal. And all you have to do is call, and within days, the check is sent to you. Now, as it relates to your question with the sickness, what if I'm in an accident? What if I get sick? So it covers 3 riders on the policy that is free. You do not pay for it. So one rider is called a critical illness rider. So if you come down with a critical illness, 6 million people this year is going to end up having a heart attack, a stroke, or a cancer. 6 million people this year. If anything like that happened to you, a brain tumor, it doesn't have to be cancerous, organ failure, you come down with something that is critical, you can ask for 100% of your insurance, up to $1 million. And you don't have any period of time to wait, as long as you have a valid, active policy. That works. And it works for many people. So please, if you contact me, I'm not going to run after you, right? Because we're not selling anything today. But if you call me, I'll send you the videos and so on. So you could listen to other people's story. You could watch them in their face and hear what they are saying. So it also covers chronic illness, not only critical, but chronic. A chronic illness is what we call a long-term care. Anybody knows what that is? If somebody cannot perform 2 out of the 6 normal daily living activities that you should be able to perform, you must be able to feed yourself. You must be able to go to the bathroom without help. You must be able to get off your wheelchair and go to your bed, if you have to. So bathe yourself. These are normal daily activities. If you cannot perform 2, and the doctor signs off that you cannot, that is called a chronic, a long-term care. You can ask for all of your money upfront. You don't have to die. You don't have to give no explanations. Okay? And then it also covers critical, chronic, and terminal. Terminal could be like a cancer that you might be in the last stage. The doctor said you have up to 2 years to live. That is considered a terminal illness. Even if you survive the cancer, it don't matter. You don't have to pay the money back. And I personally know people who have gotten hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars by making those kind of claims because something really happened to them. So I don't have to ask you because I know, but I could not get one because I had cancer. So they don't want to cover me. But thank God I was able to get my husband one. He's sitting right here. I was able to get my children. I was able to get my grandchildren. Every one of my sisters have one. So I'm not going to tell you about something that I really don't believe in. Yeah. Okay.
You said that you quit your job and went to Wall Street and met a financial advisor. And I don't mean to pry, but where are you now? What is your financial status now?
Yeah, so that's not a question that you normally would ask anybody. Because what would that have to do with what I'm teaching you or where I'm helping you to go? But I will answer it for you. My financial condition is fine. I am not in debt. I don't owe anybody any money. Well, that's not true. That's not true. I did recently, during the COVID, because I have my own business, and since I quit my job 8.5 years ago, I've never worked for anyone. But during the COVID, they were giving those government loans to keep people on your payroll working. Right, so I'm paying that off now. That's it. I don't owe anybody anything. I bought my house, not I, but my husband and I, we bought our house cash. It's not the only house that we own, but I'm fine financially.
Thank God.
I'm not a millionaire yet, if that's what you're asking me. But, but guess what? It's good to know that you are on track because money doesn't fall from a tree and nobody's going to just hand you $1 million. I don't gamble, so I don't even have an opportunity to win it, right?
So you're comfortable?
Very comfortable. Yeah. Very comfortable. And comfortable means that when the month comes, I love your questions, and she's young. You need to get into finance because you have an interest. Comfortable just means that you can pay your bills and you don't have to get high blood pressure to do it. But God is not looking to just make us comfortable, so that's my message. God wants to increase us beyond being comfortable, right? But we have to believe it. And what I find is most of us just don't believe it because we have been burnt so much in the past by other people coming to us with different things, All right. So
They'll need your number, Anne-Marie,
my number,
or
okay.
your contact information.
Yes. If you want to write my number down, you're welcome to. I don't give out cards. I don't want to do business on the Sabbath, so I really don't even come to church with cards because people do bombard me. And by the way, I speak all around the country, not just right here, and and hundreds and hundreds. Next weekend, I will be at the Women's Convention for the Greater New York Conference. I'm teaching 3 classes there, 2 classes, and we expect 850 women. And when I do teach on a Sunday, it's no problem. I give you my cards and everything, but not today. So my number is 646, if you want to write it down, 645-0102. Very easy. 646-645-0102. We have covered a lot of things. We were not able to finish, but it's okay. I want to close on I am going to close. I want to close on this here, the $1 Million Baby Plan, because I really do feel that for some of us that are, say that again? My name? Oh, okay. So my name is Anne-Marie Fraser. Yes, Fraser. And the $1 Million Baby Plan, for those of you who have grandchildren, please set it up for them. Please set it up for them. Like I said, I just did one for a 9-year-old. It was nothing more than about $27 a month. But guys, you can afford this. Do it for your grandchildren, if not for yourself, okay? So you can do a 500,000 index plan for a grandchild. And at age 18, 19, 20, 21, right, you will expect that that child will be able to earn $20,000 a year, take them through college. At age 35, they can pull out 150,000 to buy their home or to do a down payment. And definitely you would expect that they will earn over $1 million+, your grandchildren. And all of it is tax-free. And you can come together and save about $360 a month in there for these kids. It's something that you can do for them if you can't do it for yourself. All right, so we're going to end at this point. We covered quite a few things. Just to recap, the mindset, the budgeting, you're saving consistently, making sure you put down that $50 a week, it's $200 a month. Allow God to bless that for you. Making sure that you're faithful with your tithe and your offering. Everything that we talked about, set up an emergency fund. Try to have at least 6 months of your expenses in that emergency fund so that if something happens, you're not going on credit card to take care of emergencies, because that's like taking out more debt. So on Wednesday night, I don't know which one of the Wednesday nights, but we will cover getting rid of those credit cards, right? We'll talk about that and so on. So we covered a lot of things: how money grows, how money works, where to invest, how the indexing work. I hope you have learned something. I was happy to be here with you today. I know it was a lot of information, but hopefully you heard one thing that you can go and implement. It doesn't have to be everything. My email is annfraser7000@gmail.com. Ann is ANN, Fraser, FRASER, 7000@gmail.com. Pastor Daly, I just want to thank you so much for inviting me. I was looking forward to be here with you guys and anytime.
Okay. Wasn't that awesome? Were you blessed? Just give her a hand. That was amazing. We thank you, Anne-Marie, and just this a foretaste of what is to come. You see, my people are destroyed because of what? Lack of knowledge. It's not because we're lazy. Or we don't work hard. I've seen some of the hardest working people, but we still end up broke. That's the problem because the vehicles that we're using are sometimes outdated. So we're thankful that you were able to come. And you know, when I sat down there and I said to myself, wouldn't it be nice if all the churches in South Brooklyn could come here one evening and listen to all of this? What do you think? Yeah, because it's our people, you know. It's amazing how the Koreans help their own people, the Chinese help their own people. I can't remember going to a Chinaman store and see a black man working in there. But they work, but you know who they get their money from? The people in our community.
Yes.
It's amazing. I go back to Jamaica and I'm upset because all the little black people store who used to be work when I was growing up, the Chinaman take it over. We soon have to learn to speak Chinese when we go back to Jamaica and we go back to the Caribbean. Because we're selling out once it was the English slave master, now it's a Chinese economic slave master. So we have to wake up by the grace of God and know that we are God's people. We are intelligent people. We are proud people. I heard some powerful questions that were asked here. And I'm just proud that you guys really came on. You don't know, it made me feel good on the inside. It made me feel airy on the inside, you know. So you guys don't understand those vibes, so I know what you're talking about. So Anne-Marie and Brother Fraser, it was nice having you here today. And where's our stewardship director? We're going to come, sister, we're going to ask you to come and pray for us, Sister Brown. And there's a number of stuff the stewardship department is planning for you. And you'll be hearing about the Wednesday nights meeting. And I'm thinking that we need to have a Sabbath afternoon when we talk about, who asked the question down here? And we said it will take two. Sister June, it's a very important question. The whole change that is taking place when this international reserve currency that we call the United States dollar, the CBDC, central bank digital currency, something I've been reading a lot about. And sometimes I read so much about it, I said, I have to throw it down because it makes you nervous. And the Bible says, let not your heart be troubled. Be careful for nothing, but in everything with prayer and thanksgiving, make your requests be known unto God. So no matter what's happening now, we need to what? Apply our faith to the financial situation. That's why Christ said, may not always to pray and not to lose heart. So we want to leave that with Luke 18, may not always to pray and not panic, right? When the world is panicking, we won't, because we know this was prophesied to come to pass. Let us stand and we want to sing a stanza of God will take care of you, and then we'll have prayer. Could you help us, dear Sister Gooden? I think it's 99. Sing, help us with that song, dear. God will take care of you. Were you blessed, everybody? Okay, wonderful. Man, this is great. Awesome.
Be not dismayed, whate'er betide. God will take care of you. Beneath his wings of love abide. God will take care of you. God will
take care of you through every day or all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you. Through days of toil when heart doth fail, God will take care of you. When dangers fears your path assail, God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day or all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you. All you may need, He will provide. God will take care of you. Nothing you ask will be denied. God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day, all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you. No matter what may be the test, God will take care of you. Lean, weary one upon His breast, God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day or all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you.
Amen. Let's bow our heads for prayer. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for the assurance that you will and will always take care of us. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity we had this evening to hear about how we can be better stewards of the resources that you have entrusted us with. Lord, we thank you for all the gifts you have blessed us with. Some are monetary, some are good health, good mental health. We thank you for all these gifts, Lord, but most of all, we thank you for the gift of your Son. Lord Jesus, may we go out this week with the confidence, the assurance that you are always with us, that if you emptied heaven of all its riches for us, there is nothing you will not do for us. Be with us and help us to be shining examples of your goodness, to show forth your glory as we go through this week, we pray. Amen.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, Elder Walker, for your technical assistance, and all our crew online. We also thank you, and listen out for the seminar that's coming up. Remember, it's still Sabbath now, folks.